Oh man. Okay. So yeah, what's up everybody? Back with another video. And for people who don't know about Sons of Anarchy, it's considered a white show or whatever you want to call it, a white show. I like Sons of Anarchy. I don't watch any particular show that's representative of black people. I don't watch drug dealer shows. I like shows that's on a different side. And pretty much that's the reason why so many strain between me and so many black people, because they like the same kind of things. But when I started thinking about it, before I got these pictures and everything, I started thinking about the situation in the passport gate, the Pookie and Ray Ray debate, the non-select versus the select debate. And I said, wait a minute, the same kind of stuff is going on right now. It reflects of what's going on Sons of Anarchy, and some of the characteristics that the characters in Sons of Anarchy have. So for people who didn't watch Sons of Anarchy, I'm gonna give you a analysis on some of these characters, and I'm gonna show you the reflection on what they have in real life. Some of the traits that these guys really have. So you got the quote unquote good looking guy in Jax Taylor. In the beginning of the season, he was the VP, and his whole life revolved around the motorcycle gang. He overall didn't need nobody to help him. He was born with looks, but he was a simp. He was a blue pill simp. He couldn't live his life without a female. One of the things that I respect about Jax was the fact is he even admitted, no, somebody else I think admitted it, but he didn't know that he was a guy who couldn't live his life without a female. And that wasn't because he was a weak man. It was because what his mom put into him. And I'm going to get to her, because she's a reflection on the black women in the black community and women in general in American society. So he couldn't live his life without females. He was tough, but he was a blue pill when it comes to women. And he was an emotionally damaged person who was a tool for his mom to get what she wanted. She wanted to control a powerful son, and a person that had the power over the motorcycle club. He was manipulated way before he was ever born. And I'm gonna get to his father, but he stood no chance. He stood no chance. And this is the reflection of black boys that don't have no chance when they were raised by their moms. Because most of the time, some guys get lucky to have a mom who gives them certain traits that they can survive or pass on the good to them. Then you got the majority of bad moms who bring their son into a dysfunctional arena and raise their sons up in a dysfunctional way and sees nothing wrong with it. This is the reason why, black mothers or mothers in general will protect their kids, even though their kids are killers or drug dealers or pedophiles, because that is their property. They have to back what they built. When they built a dysfunctional, unstable human being for the world, they have to back it, because that was their project. That was what they did. And this is what happens. But the fact is, a lot of people don't have the earnest of looking at the parents and saying, what the hell? That was your fault. The father wasn't around. The father wasn't there. Jax Taylor was a victim of his mom. I mean, throughout the whole season, he was struggling with not wanting to be in the gang life. I mean, in the beginning of the season, he had a kid, and he started to question himself about wanting to be in this lifestyle and the gang lifestyle. But at the same time, he was putting on his persona as a playboy of the club. So he was stuck playing two roles. The guy who didn't want to be this way and the guy who wanted to be this way. So he was half and half, and ultimately it tore him apart to the point where after his manipulation of his mom in the last season, who made him go out here and kill all these people, he had to kill his own mom because he had to stop the cycle. He had to stop her from ever doing this to his kids, passing on this kind of chaos, craziness to his kids. So after he killed after he's popped his mom, he pretty much ran his motorcycle into a semi, just like his father did. And I'm gonna tell you how, the thing about that. Jax Taylor resembles the players that are in the black community who they pretend that they are alpha and red pill and dime game, and they know how to control women, but the fact is they do everything they can just to get women. They can't live without women in their life, and it takes the right woman to make them 100% blue pill. They just haven't met her yet. And these guys are pretending to be red pill and talking about dime game. And you see it in the way they talk, where they walk around, they judge other guys who don't want to deal with women and get sex styles. They walk around and talk about guys who don't want to, want to travel out. But the difference between him and them and Jax is Jax never done stuff like that. He would literally share the same vagina with a person that he needed some kind of, favor for. I mean, in the first season, he banged a chick and said, "Okay, I'll bang you, you bang him." It was the dude at the that burned the bodies because they needed a body to pretend something. I forgot what it was. So pretty much women, he literally funneled his women to other guys, and the whole club has a policy of sharing the women. But his lifestyle, that he couldn't do it. So when these guys talk about game and swag and stuff like that, it all comes back to their moms. It all comes back to them depending on a female energy. They need sexual energy. They can't function without women. And that's a dangerous thing, because these are the guys that usually go to jail for rape, or these are the guys that usually go to jail for the murders. These are the guys that will ultimately either kill somebody else for a female or kill himself over a female. They never met the right female yet. Jax met the right female, and once his wife was out the picture, he turned into he turned into what he fought not to be in the last couple of seasons. He embraced the club. He did just massacring people, and he got a lot of people killed. And overall, it was because his mom and the death of the woman he loved. But guess what? He cheated on her too. But this man right here showed the most loyal thing that I've seen any protagonist do, and he gave up his freedom. He knew that he was in the club. See, Jax ain't like these other guys. Jax had some honor. So like I said, he was going in between. But one of the things he did, his wife got caught up in the jail system, and she was being pressured on being jail time. So what he did as a man, and to protect the mother of his children, he said, "I'm gonna do the time. I'm not gonna let my wife do no time. I want my wife and my 2 kids to get the hell out of this town, get away from this gang lifestyle, and I'll do the time. I'll be the target man." That was some honorable type level type shit. Like, I loved you. Like, I can't control myself. I got something wrong with me. But hopefully that get out of me when I go to jail. I need you and my kids to get the hell away from me. And him being the ultimate father after he killed his mom, he sent his kids away. After he killed his mom and after he did that, he sent his kids away and he told the simp stepfather he had, or the simp guy who came after his other stepfather, he told him, keep my kids away from me. I don't even want them to even, I don't want them to even like, I don't want them to even think about me. I want them to despise thinking about me. I want them to look at me as the villain, so they'd never be like me. That was some, when he said things like that, I was like, yo, it made this show 10 times better when you had dialogue like that. I mean, at one point you saw how much he needed a female and how much the right female he needed to go blue pill for is because when he told the chick that I'm gonna show you in one of the, I'm gonna show you his wife, his dead wife. He told her, he like, you were the only one I loved. He like, you know how many women I had slept with? I've slept with thousands of women, and everybody that I had sex with, I don't care about them. It's like I'm lonely. I don't have nobody. The only person that I think about after I'm finished with these women is you. He had a blue pill moment. So when I hear these guys on here, they haven't found the right woman to turn them into full blue pill. All his game and his swag and his stuff reflects on who they really are. They really blue pill, but they pretending. But they just haven't met the right woman yet. And they're running away from that woman that will turn them blue pill. Because a lot of the women they mess with don't have the ability to turn them blue pill. So they're going around causing destruction and making people feel bad about themselves and telling them that they're losers and all that other stuff. Most guys have the qualities of Jack Steller. Now, the most evilest woman I ever seen on one of the TV shows I ever seen, Gemma Taylor. So let me get you the rundown on Gemma Taylor, right? Gemma Taylor hooked up with a war veteran, and he was one of the founders of the Sons, and she got with him. But her origins was she was with a mom who was controlling her, and she wanted to get out of that situation because she got fooled by the feminist movement. Because a woman like Gemma Taylor is she's a reflection of a lot of women in the society. Destructive, they like chaos, they like drama, and when they don't get their way, you see the kind of things they do to men. So I'm gonna give you the rundown. Her mom was controlling. Her mom didn't let her do anything. So in her rebellious nature, she hooked up with a guy who her mom and her dad didn't like, which was a biker gang. She hooked up to the next guy. She left and went with a guy named John Taylor. John Taylor was, as I said, the founder of the Sons. Now, that takes a dark turn. She was with John Taylor because he was a bad boy. He was a tough, rugged dude. So in order to quench her rebellious nature, she loved that man. She fell in love with him. But this same man, he didn't like the club. He didn't like the violence. He didn't like none of it. So he became something that she didn't like. She didn't enjoy. She looked at him like, this guy is weak. This guy can't quench my thirst of power and control. I don't want to go back to the weak version of myself. I want to keep my power. So what did she do? She slept with his best friend and club member and founding member, the youngest one. She took advantage of the guy, the youngest member. She latched onto him, convinced him to kill the husband and the father of her two kids. So she had blood on her hands. To get rid of a weak man she thought was weak, she traded him into a guy that she can mold with her vagina. Don't that sound familiar? A lot of women try to change men with sex and looks. And sometimes it works, but they also turn men into weapons against other men. So let me continue with her. She finally got what she wanted. He died. But he didn't die from them killing him, because he had too much clout. People loved him outside of his wife. They sabotaged his bike. And I think he knew about it, because a lot of people alluded to the fact that he knew that his bike was sabotaged. But he had no choice he couldn't leave the club. And he couldn't leave his family. So he got into an accident. He committed suicide to get away from her and get away from the club. This chick didn't care about him. She only cared about herself from the very beginning. She also, from her doing dirt to her husband, she lost a child, Jax's brother. And then with that loss, she clammed on to Jax, and now she can create. She had this family that she can create. She had a man that she was with that she created to do her dirty work, and a guy that she can control, and her son that she can mold into somebody who she will be proud of, to quench her chaotic side. So every woman who comes into her son's life, who's good, she hates, because that's the opposite of her. She's chaos. She don't like women who are peaceful for her son, and that was the woman that she killed. I'm gonna go down to that. I'm gonna go down to that, right? She don't like anybody who good and resemble goodness and kindness. This is why she hang around dysfunctional people, the club people, associates of the club. She has a porn star, adult entertainer best friend, an old adult entertainer, who she talks down to. She able to teach the younger generation of chicks how to be just like her, more dysfunctional. So it gave her so much power. She had the men, she had the women, she had the high status in a chaotic club, the violence and everything else. And she loved that power. She loved that power, having two powerful men and having all these men and all these women look up to her. It quenched the thirst of chaos. But she was deep inside, she was just a little girl, scared to face her mom and tell her mom that she didn't want to do what she didn't want to do what her mom had to say. She just ran. So she's still that little girl, even though she was an old woman at the time. In the beginning of the series, she's like 50 something years old. She get herself in certain situations. Now, it was a situation where she got raped, which was messed up. But if you think about it, this is the kind of stuff that she put herself into. This is the lifestyle that she chose. So when she got raped and she didn't tell her club, and didn't tell her son and her husband. She tried to act like she was strong about it. And she loved the fact that she was able to instill violence onto other people through other men, but she couldn't do the violence herself. The guys that raped her, she found out who they was, and she couldn't pull the trigger. So there was like a certain situation that was happening in the club where Jax didn't like his stepfather's direction with the club, and they was arguing, and then she used her rape situation as a way to mitigate the situation and make it all about her when she should have done that in the first place, and they would have never been fighting at all. Remember, she's the origin of it. The whole club going in the direction, it's hers. It's on her. Because she could have got her son out. The father didn't want him to be in his gang lifestyle. But instead, she had to push the buttons. And tossed her son into dysfunctional club life. And then use her simp husband to do dirty work. And give her the power position as the woman behind the man. That's what a lot of these women want. They want to have power without actually doing actions. So she used the situation as a way to mitigate the situation between them two, and they came together and said, okay, man, we gotta come together. We're gonna get these dudes. Jax destroyed. I mean, he popped the dude who raped his mom. Clay went after the people who was backing the dudes, the racist gang who was a part of it. But in turn, all this whole situation happened based on what she did. Her grandson got kidnapped during that whole flurry because the IRA, the NRA, the IRA, the Irish mafia, who did gun deals with her because of her killing her first husband and Jax's father, who wanted them to get out the gun business. At the time, the dudes was double dipping, and they was supplying guns with the racist guys. So they got caught, and Gemma herself decided she wanted to take action on the woman who set her up, because there was an initial woman who set her up with a baby. So she found a woman, and finally, in the chaos, her being so stupid and thinking that she was going to be the big woman in town, didn't know the feds was following her. So she followed the female to the house and told her, this is my revenge, or blah blah blah. She had little words with her, and to get exact her revenge, she shot the girl and killed her. But in turn, there was a feminist agent there who shot her boyfriend at the time, who she was sent to make him do the deal and, basically be the honeypot and basically be something that's added to the package. For the racist guys sent his daughter to find the weakest link, sleep with him, and entice him to do the deal, and they got him killed. So the Irish guy thought that the club was a part of the deal, killed one of the prospects, and kidnapped Jax's son. And that was some good acting when he was running for his son, and he just snapped out and was like, he was screaming no, like you took my son. And she knew she was a part of this. Then she became a fugitive because she ain't really as smart as the people she used. So she got them in trouble more and more and more. And her interference with the club life showed just how dumb she really was. She didn't have no kind of ability to navigate through criminal life. She's able to manipulate criminals, but she can't do any kind of criminal activity without causing more collateral damage, which she did. I mean, she was trying to play games with the feds, and it made it worse. Jax had to become 10 times smarter and play the feds, one of the feds, the ATF agent, and pretty much get what he won out of the deal. Also get them minimum jail time based off what their mom did and what their mom got them into. I mean, without her going around doing that revenge, and basically she could have did it. She could have did the same thing she was used to and manipulating somebody into getting a female. But instead she wanted to do her own. She wanted to not sit back and watch other people do stuff. She wanted to now, sack up and do some crimes. But it didn't work out, and it made the club in a mess. And then they had to do more and more time. Well, they had to do time, but everything results back to her, man. Everything. So then you got, her fighting with Jax's wife because she don't like anybody who takes her son away from her and attention and her love. So she feels like she doesn't have no power over her son, the thing she created. Then at some point, her blue pill weapon, Clay Morrow, turned against her because he was looking towards a cash out. But she was thinking that she was going to put her authority over this man's ability to survive, and she got checked. And when she got checked, she decided to use her another weapon, another blue pill man, who was the sheriff of the whole city. You see what I'm talking about, right? Women like this resembles, women like Gemma Tillers resembles a lot of females. They always got a backup plan or a man on the side that they just spinning the wheels. Mind you, this dude was the same age as her. She been stringing him along for 50 years. This dude was a 50-year-old friend zone type of dude with the power of the cops behind him. And she got him to kill her first husband. Now she wanted to get him to kill her second husband. But it didn't work out that way. So she said, let me use Jax's best friend, because a situation happened with Jax's best friend who was killed by Clay. So she used that situation to get Opie to shoot her husband. Then when it didn't work for her to use Jax's best friend, she decided that she wanted to use her son to kill her husband. Because her husband became out of control. He was looking for the end game. Because she created this monster. She created the husband. She created the son. But her husband was so out of control that he tried to call a hit out on his stepson's wife to get him out the way so Jax can be fully in the club and not worry about a female. Sounds familiar? Clay was a doppelganger of what resembles qualities of what Gemma was, because Gemma was in his ear. This is what I say about these guys. They resemble things from women anything women say against men, they mimic it because they around them so much, and they kowtow to these women. So they start to sound similar, just like Clay Morrow when it came to eliminating his wife, because Clay felt like, dude, you letting this chick control you too much. You, you gotta be in this club like 100%. You can't be half in, half out. So he tried to get rid of her. And then she comes in acting like she always liked the Tara. And mind you, she tried to make Tara into another version of herself. But it didn't work out because Tara fought her and said, I don't want to be like you. You're old bag and I don't want to be like you. But when Clay got out of control, there was a point where she tried to have him killed by her husband. She tried to have him killed by try to have him killed by her friend's own friend, her son, and her son's best friend. But then the younger generation, Tara, decided that she was going to slip in and learn stuff from Tara. So pretty much she kind of gave Tara some of the schooling. Some of her influence was half in there, half out. But Tara woke up from it like, no, I can't do this. But this woman was chaos. Then the whole situation with the whole situation with Jax having to deal with the law and his wife learning from Gemma, but pretty much trying to outbeat Gemma and say, well, I don't want to be like you, I want to be better than you. So his wife tried to be Gemma 2.0 and it failed, and she ended up just like Gemma end up in the claws of the feds. So in that turn of events, Tara was about to snitch on Jax because she seen that Jax didn't want to give up the life and she wanted to protect her kids. Gemma misspoke the whole thing. Didn't know Jax was going to turn himself in for his wife and for his family, get away from Gemma and get away from the whole thing. And she killed Tara. Then blamed it on another gang. Mind you, too, she manipulated a new dude, too. His name was Juice, and I'm going to get down to him, too. So she always had a backup simp or man to manipulate. She never did anything like by herself. And this resembles a lot of females. And also, I forgot to say that. I forgot which one. Well, after her son kicked out her husband out of the club, and her son looked at her like, I know what type of female you are. You've been playing me this whole time. And he rejected her. So she goes and go on drugs, sleep with women, sleep with random men. Then she got with a pimp. A new blue pill guy. And he had his whole he had a whole heap of problem with him too. This chick create chaos. She always find new and more guys to use and manipulate for her own gangs. And finally, it caught up to her. She manipulated Jackson, believing that the Asian gang killed his wife So Jax went on a rampage, turned into a whole different person, and just started slaughtering people. And he got people killed. Turned into this monster in season 7. To the point where it made Jax look like a super simp. But she created this guy. Same thing with Clay. And she did accomplish something when she got Jax to kill Clay eventually as a setup. And she watched it. She was there when Jax killed his stepfather, the man she created. And then she started crying in front of her blue pill simp guy, her new blue pill simp guy. Then she stringed along the most naive person part of the gang, who is technically savvy, and she used him until she couldn't use him no more. And then her last piece that she used was the 50-year-old friend zone who she got killed. Her creation, her son, found out about it, called the hit out on her, called the hit out on Juice in jail. You're a snitch. You should have told me this from the very beginning. You lied to me. She killed my wife all along. They got him out of there in jail. Then here come the blue pill simp trying to save Gemma from her ultimate destruction, her ultimate downfall. Son came in and said, "Hey, what's up? I gotta end this. I gotta end you. You done. I can't have you. I can't have you being alive no more because you're gonna keep calling chaos, and this hurts me." And even he said it. Even Jack said it in one of the episodes, like before he took his own mom out. He said, "After all the shit she done to me, I still love her. I don't know if I could come back from this shit. I gotta get rid of her." And he told other gangs dudes in other gangs, like, it was my mom the whole time. She caused this shit. So I gotta take her out as a man. It's my mom. I don't want nobody else to touch her. I'm gonna take her out myself. He went in there. The simp tried to stop her. Tried to stop him from taking out his own mom. And he said, "Hey, no. He popped him. And she decided that she wanted to go in the gardens. And he popped her back in the head. Putting down the female, the woman who caused his life so much chaos. This woman killed. She killed so many people. And this is the kind of chaos that the reflection a lot of females are that are chaotic in the society. You don't know how many bodies that a female has that ain't sexual. This is why a lot of guys have kind of intuitions by certain women when they say, "Oh, they were about the bodies." No, they weren't about the bodies that the females must have got beat up or got killed. Because a lot of these females, if you dig deep, they have said things like, "Oh, if you touch me, my uncle gonna get you this and this and that." Or, "Yeah, no, you touch me, my blah, blah, blah." A lot of women resemble Gemma Taylor and the things she did and how she was. A lot of women are less like Gemma Taylor in the society, and this is the reason why a lot of guys say, "I'm done." Who would want to deal with a female like Gemma Taylor that all she has is chaos and destruction? And for some reason, she found multiple men to use and multiple men to like her. And that's just like the society. Okay, that was way too long, but Gemma, she was probably one of the worst females that I ever seen that's outside of society, in real life. But then I found women that had the same qualities as her, and looking at news reports did the same thing as her. So it doesn't surprise me when I see females getting guys killed and setting guys up, or getting guys to take their money and rob them and stuff like that, and manipulating guys to be who they want to be, and then discarding them and snitching on them and letting them go to jail. I mean, it's insane, man. Are killing each other for fighting over the positions of, other things, like, oh, the younger woman want this. And so Clay Morrow, his stepfather I told you about, he was a weak man from the very beginning. I mean, Gemma was a hot chick back then, and she used him to her own advantage. But his own downfall, he didn't see his own downfall, because all he saw is the power. And based off a woman manipulating him to get this false sense of power, she ultimately cost him his life. And he resembles a lot of guys who got fake confidence, fake abilities, fake everything. They don't build nothing. Like MOT said, these guys got no accomplishment. All they got is a whole bunch of stories about females. And eventually, they get too beside themselves, and they overdo it to the point where people around them and people outside of it just look at them and say, okay, I don't want to talk. I don't want to be around this dude no more. Everything that dirty thing that they did to people, they start losing friends. Because Clay Morrow was a creation of a woman who wanted control. Clay Morrow did a lot of grimy things, man. I mean, let me tell you the things that he did. All right? He killed Jack's father for Gemma. He called the hit out on Jax's best friend wife and got her killed. He tried to kill Jax's wife because he felt like Tara was taking Jax from the club. He killed one of the other founding members because one of the founding members wanted him to get out the drug business and said, we got to stop dealing with the cartel. And he killed him. He tried to set up his stepson with a scenario with some old club members for them to usurp his power so he can get the gavel again, so he can run the club how he wanted the run the club. Clay is a reflection of these guys don't wanting to give up and sabotaging the younger generation, and also what they would do for women. They would rather throw every man under the bus for women. They would cheat. They would sleep with other people's wives, other people's girlfriends, and then create a story about it and laugh it off. They cause chaos just as much as the women that manipulated them. They will kill for women. And the end goal is for somebody that's either ostracize them like they did when they took the patch from them and ostracized them and say, yo, get out the club. Jax beat the crap out of boy. When they found out that he did that, they stripped him of his patch and they excommunicated him, and they made him ink out all his Sons of Anarchy when he finally got caught. And then he started crying like a little punk. When they was like, dude, you causing all this drama, you got everybody killed. Jax welded on him, knocked him out. This is the reflection of what happened to a lot of guys in this PUA stuff. Eventually, guys are going to see who they are, and they're going to ostracize them for the things they said, and you're going to see them for who they really are. Tig. So we got a lot of effeminate men on YouTube or on social media who think they tough. Like this man. His name's Tig. So this guy is, he's the sergeant in arms. He's the hitman of the Sons. He's the guy who is the right hand of Clay Morrow. Anything he want, they do. So he's pretty much a drone. But he's also the drone of Gemma's too. So this guy killed by Clay orders, killed Jack's best friend wife by took Clay orders. He killed the innocent black woman when Clay threw the race card and said Opie didn't shoot him. Jackson's best friend didn't shoot him, but a black person, the black gang did. So he went on a rampage and ran over one of the black gang members' girlfriends at the time. But then Tig did not understand that you killed the daughter of a big gangster who had political power. This dude was a racist who loved having sex with black women, but he didn't like black men. He was a drone. He had issues. So he was always this hyper masculine guy, over sexual guy. Yeah, man, I get the women, and he resembles all these other guys. Oh yeah, man, you a bitch ass nigga and blah 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 blah. Yeah, you a punk boy. You blah 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 blah. What I say? It takes the right person to show who a person really is. So it turns out all this situation, all the things that he done to people, all the dirt that he caused, got his daughter killed. She got burned alive in front of him by the father of the daughter he killed. And he told him in his face, hey man, you killed my daughter. And I'm gonna kill yours in front of you. And burnt her alive. And then he kept calling them racist names and everything else. He said, kill me. No. I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your daughter. And I'm gonna do it in front of you. And then I'm gonna get you out of here. At this point, this coward, was constantly trying to get his way out and show that he wasn't the man that he always put himself out to be. Because there was one character, one person, who showed him who he really was, just like the resemble of people in real life. See, these guys who walk around, they macho and stuff just to impress women, they got a lot of hidden secrets. And I'm going to show you who the person who showed who he really was. Venus, what's her name is? Venus Slam Dam or whatever her name is, right? It was a transgender woman who showed him who he really was. Don't that sound familiar? While all these tough guys who walk around and act like they tough, but then you find out that they jump over the other side. Just like Tig. Tough, rough guy, getting all the women. He can get any woman he wants because he's tough and rough. But then when he does stuff, he think that it's not gonna come back and get him. And then when he finally got out of the situation and finally found somebody who can show his true colors, it wasn't a woman. It was a trans woman. You could be who you want to be, but don't go around calling people names and talking shit and doing all types of stuff to people, acting like you better than somebody else and tougher than people. Because eventually people going to look at you like you're a joke when they find out who you really are. And people looked at Tig like, yo, this who you are, dog? People made fun of him. Like, oh, yo, dog, you supposed to be this tough guy. But you end up with that? Venus Van Dam. It resembles a lot of dudes out here, man, and who they really are. Now, This is a guy, the OG of the Sons of Anarchy gang. He did a lot of stuff for the Sons, and they did him dirty. And this resembles of the guys who talking about stay in the community and fight for the community and be in the community. This is what this character reflects on what it means to do something for a group of people who don't care about you. So let me run down. He was doing time for the club. He always do jail things for the club. Every time the club get in trouble, every time the club does something, he gets hurt for it, because he the only one they can get to. They took his eye. He got his revenge from that. Yeah. One of the club members slept with his wife while he was in jail, but they got a jail clause, but they didn't tell him. They got his wife killed and didn't tell him. Then when he got tired of them, finally they snitched him out. And the tragedy of this dude is that to show his loyalty to the club last time, because he had nothing else, and he didn't want to be a pawn of Sons of Anarchy or the pawn for the feds, he cut his tongue out. Also, he was raped in jail multiple times by a demented fed who had clout inside jail, and they was raping him every morning for him to give them information on his sons, because he did stuff for the club. He killed the federal agent's sister for the club. So the brother of the person he killed in jail came back and used his favors to rape him every day in the morning. So he was raped. He lost his eye. He lost his wife to the club. They didn't show him no type of loyalty. And then finally, he got sick of it. And the dude who did all that damage to him, he pretended that he was going to tell him information, and he sliced the dude's throat, and then he got shot and died tragically. This is a reflection who the black community wants you to be. They want you to be the eunuch. They want you to be the guy that always get hit every time they do something. They want you to be the guy. They want you to be the Otto of the black community. Otto Delaney, man. They wanted you to be him. I mean, he's a reflection on what the black community want the guys that they think is cleanup men. They want the good representatives, and then when they do something bad, the good representatives get all the hits and get all the things that they don't have to get. They're gonna use the good guys as front linemen, taking the hits for them. He resembles what they want you to be. To remain loyal to people who don't care about you. He gave his all to the club. And he died tragically, and they couldn't even protect him. Don't that situation sound familiar? So this is gonna be my last one, and then I'm gonna cut this in half. Opie. He grew up in a club, and he had the same kind of mindset that Jax has before Jax had it. He didn't want to be in the club. He wanted to start a new life because he was taking too many hits for the club over and over and over and over and over again. He resembles the smart. He resembles some of the thinking men, black men, who say they don't want to deal with the black community no more. But some of them do it too late, like Opie. I mean, the Clay took his father over some other club beef. The club took his wife. And he found out that the whole club mentality, brother mentality, and everything else was a farce. It was fake. Then he gave his life for his best friend when they got put in jail. And he said, I got this, man. You don't have to die for no club. I'm going to die for you. And I'm going to let you deal with the club situation. I can't be here no more. And he walked in, 3 black guys with pipes, and they beat him to death. And Jax had to watch. And this is the whole situation that was caused by Tig. He was a guy who was conflicted and didn't get out too soon, and it cost his wife. Now, let's go to his wife. His wife was probably one of the good ones on the show. One of the good women on the show. She didn't like the club life. She knew he was a part of it, but she didn't want nothing to do with it. She wanted him to go straight. She wanted him to be straight. But he fought her to stay in the club. Like, oh no, I don't want to give up the club. You gotta respect me. And then she was starting to accept it, but she didn't want no parts of it. She was the only one who really put up a fight against the club. She did more than Tara did, because at least she tried to get out. She tried to take the kids with her and everything. But then at some point, she fall into the thing of falling in love with the wrong guys, because it cost her life, just like it cost Tara her life of getting involved with a criminal, but trying to see his softer side and change him. But she changed herself for him. But she was the best female on the show because she stayed out the club crap for a lot longer than Tara did. Tara left and ran off. She didn't. She stand by it until she said, "Okay, you gotta be legit." And then when he didn't want to be legit, she finally started to come around on it, which was the bad idea. But we don't know what would have happened. But this is it's a reflection on the parallel on a man who take up movements and take up organization that he shouldn't have taken up, that cost him his life and his family and livelihood and everything else. And a woman who decided she wanted to be with that tag guy. It resembles a lot of females and a lot of males, but mainly females who get wrong with the wrong dudes for the obvious dumb reasons. They have kids with them, they get married, and they can't go nowhere. And then the other side is the guys who they put their hat into the wrong people, wrong organizations, staying around the wrong families. And at some point, the situations, they pile up to the person can't take it no more, and it costs them their lives or costs them their freedom. The tragedy of Opie and his wife. So I'm gonna stop that right here, and I'm gonna put out part 2.